Latin Spring, summer of 2024. A rise with Latin nations, no confidence in governments. We are going back to 2019. Mike of the Night available for you guys to watch from 2019, where we were telling you no confidence in government, worldwide protests. We were covering the protests in Chile, Nicaragua, Ecuador, Honduras, Mexico. Like, that's just the Latin countries. We were covering all the protests in, obviously, Hong Kong and France, when there was no confidence worldwide in governments, and Western nations were spinning it as global warming, climate change. People need to take accountability for their actions in the climate. While Latin America was completely burning in 2019, and it's very interesting how we are going back to 2019 for the summer of 2024. No confidence in governments, and people have had enough. Would we see a Latin Spring, a rise of Latin nations basically take back their countries? Yes, hell, you will. Governments will fall in Latin America. Lots of governments will fall in Latin America with rigged elections and all that stuff that's been going down. We even told you guys the election 4 months before Brazilians went to the polls to vote that it's all fixed. We even read the articles in Portuguese for you guys to tell you it's all fixed. They're already assuring people in the articles we're reading that your digital vote matters, your digital vote's safe, and it's the safest way to vote. But then they ended up voting in a guy that was, criminally charged and put in prison twice. So that's what's happening, folks. Will we see a rise in Latin nations in 2024? Yes. Will it spill over? Most importantly, yes. You'll start to see a lot of problems, obviously, in Central America. And that will rise, and that will engulf, and that will spread into Mexico. And then from Mexico, it would come into the United States and Canada, right? Mexico, at least you have patriotic Mexicans that would fight for Mexico. And to free Mexico from its enemies, right? America, very heavily armed civilianry. Lots of civilians have guns, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 guns. They could protect and reinstate, their country if they have to. Canada is a different story. It's a different can of worms. I don't know what's left to fight for here, or what is. I'm not sure what's going to happen for Canada, but I could tell you there will be civil unrest, and it will start with a Latin Spring, and it's going to rise up, and it's going to basically take us back to worldwide protests of 2019. Haiti was protesting in 2019. Dominican Republic was protesting in 2019. Iran was protesting. It was every country was protesting in 2019. Hong Kong was protesting. Japan was protesting. Everywhere and everything was protesting in 2019. No confidence in government, and we're going back to no confidence in government, folks. And that's just where it's going to happen. And I think that what's happening right now, with TV stations getting attacked live, people being kidnapped and shot, and videos being circulated around social media, that is starting out, and it's going to ignite, and people have had enough. And we've told you guys on this channel multiple times that famous quote from Fast and Furious 5 that we stole, but giving the credit to Fast and Furious 5. When you dominate people with violence and they have nothing to lose, what do? They fight back. And famous quote from Fast and Furious 5 I wanted to quote. But now, not only are they dominating us with violence, they are actually dominating us with lies, violence, more lies, deception, misconception. They're dominating us with everything, and that's blanketing over, and people are getting to a point where they have nothing to lose. Their $1.6 million house that they bought here in Canada that they could realistically buy in Fort Lauderdale for $300,000, it's going to come down, and people are going to get to a point where they just put their hands up and surrender to what is right and what they have to do, right? And this is what's going to happen. When you push society towards this will happen. Latin Spring, yes. Summer 2024, yes. And governments will push back. Governments will push back. They will. And this me going back to saying that 2024 will be the year of government-sanctioned murder. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. Latin America is ready to go. It's ready to pop. yeah, there's all this stuff happening there, and look at what's happening in these countries, and this and that. That's just getting started. And then I have a feeling you'll start to see small scrimmages in Australia and New Zealand, and then that will ignite into bigger problems, right? And same thing in the UK. Like, I don't think there's a lot of British proper left in England anymore. Like, British proper to fight back and take England back if they have to, right? Like, the one thing I would fight for here, if I had to fight for something in Canada, like I had to fight for, obviously will be my family, my business, and my friends. But if I had to fight for something outside of that, I would fight for the American Constitution and the Bill of Rights. I would fight for the Declaration of Independence. I would fight for the Constitution and keep it intact. Right? That's one thing I would fight for as a Portuguese living in Canada. That's one thing I would fight for here. Is that outside of my family and my business, I would like to protect my interests, right? Let me know what you guys think. I'm just rambling on. Latin Spring. Yay? No? Bad prediction, Mike? Maybe onto something. I don't see. Do you see Middle East? Do you see? I just see it in South America, Central America, and igniting and spilling over. Where did it start? In early late 2018. When did the protesting start? Where did it start? France. France started with that yellow vest movement in 2018, and we have videos of us doing our yellow vest movements across Canada. The video is up from 2018, and we're talking maybe 2017. Man, I can't even remember now. But anyways, to my point. So what I'm trying to say is that it started there. Then it started manifesting in Hong Kong. Then it started manifesting all over the world. Chile, Honduras, Brazil, everywhere started seeing protests. Everywhere started to see civil unrest. And that basically till December of 2019, then they pulled the trigger on the pandemic to shut it all down. And that's what we've been telling you guys for years here. And we told you they're going to pull the trigger on the pandemic. But that's okay. I said what I had to say. I got it out there. And hopefully we can start solving these issues and start to figure out what to do. Right? Let me know what you guys think. Mike Martin's here. I have spoken.